Greetings, everybody. Cheers. It's almost the new year, and I have espresso. I am home, I have graduated, and I've spent the past 2 days doing nothing but reading on Dr. Stephen Porges' theory, namely the theory of the polyvagus, right? This cranial nerve, I believe it's the 10th cranial nerve, called the vagal nerve, and how that really works to promote autonomic regulation, right? Meaning it helps to regulate our nervous system, right? Our brain, our body, our neuroendocrine system. Guys, it's so important to look at the mind and the body as this beautifully interconnected system. And that when we start to separate out these systems, we are doomed to failure because, guys, you can't treat the mind without treating the body, but more specifically, you cannot treat the real issues, the root issues underlying health, right? Human flourishing, authentic, joyful relationship without really learning how to work with the body. And in Dr. Porges' theory, he essentially discusses how he coins a term called neuroception, which is basically our unconscious response to whether or not we feel safe in our environment. So wherever we go, socially and emotionally, we are responding to threat or no threat, safe or not safe. We are responding to through our neuroception, that unconscious response, whether or not we feel safe. And this neuroception is an essential building block to proper social engagement. So what Dr. Porges' theory really is attempting to do is it's attempting to understand how the human brain and body, the nervous system, operates on a evolutionary model, meaning a model which posits that the reptilian, mammalian, and then human functions are built on top of one another through a hierarchical system. I think he used the term phylogenetic path or system. Meaning, we have the reptilian nervous system, we have the mammalian nervous system, and then we have the human, goodness gracious, it's so good to be human, am I right? Capacities, right, for the nervous system. And he says that really they build on top of one another, and that through a traumatic experience, we have a response to the trauma. So we can have a sympathetic response, a fight and flight response. And when that fails, we have a deep response from the part of the autonomic nervous system called the 10th cranial nerve, or the vagus, this ancient aspect of the vagus, which is unmyelinated, meaning there's not any fat, there's no fatty sheaths on it, which innervates the bottom of our bottom part, the chest down part, triggers an immobilization response, a protective response. So if I'm in danger, if I'm being attacked or raped or something, and I can't get away, then my autonomic nervous system cues this response. It's a shutdown response. So that leads to defecation, disassociation, passing out, nausea, vomiting. These are autonomic responses to threat. And this is this ancient reptilian aspect of the vagus. Now, the vagus also has a myelinated portion, which really is the mammalian portion, and the mammalian portion is there for serving social engagement, right? For cueing feelings of safety. And the vagus, what it does in short, is it sort of manages the SA node, which is kind of the heart's pacemaker. So when the vagus is more active, we're seeing more tone of the vagus, the heart slows down, right? And the parasympathetic nervous system kind of allows us to relax. And there's always this dance, this homeostatic sort of beautiful and amazing and miraculous system that works together to promote homeostasis, right? But it does this through the vagus. So cool. And as we break down, what does this myelinated portion of the vagus do? We see the myelinated portion of the vagus manages that heart rate and that breath rate, right? And if we try to understand where does this all come from, it comes from the brain stem out, and it innervates muscles of the face and then the inner ear and the throat to serve social functions that cue physiological safety, right? For example, we have prosody, this movement of the voice. As I say, hello, how are you? I am dancing with my voice, right? And we respond to dancing with the voice with a reflex of safety, okay? So we inherently respond. We want to trust people who intonate their voice, who dance with their voice. We also respond to people who show us via their face that they are safe, right? So we have these vagal, mediated reflexes that cue physiological safety. This is the beauty of this cranial nerve. And he says that when these things are online, we are in a state of health, growth, and restoration. So you can think about how there are all these implications associated with unhealthy vagal tone, right? And really this triggering of this unmyelinated vagal response that causes disassociation, defecation, nausea, passing out. And the way I look at it is a separation of the mind from the body, right? And locks individuals into this state, right? Where they're dampened down, they're flat affect. That mammalian vagus is not online. So if we hope to heal, if we hope to help, if we hope to love, if we hope to feel connected, that's the vagus, all vagal. We have to strategically promote this perception of safety on a deep unconscious level. That is neuroception, okay? So we move from building this sense of feeling safe into moving into dealing with those social and emotional issues. Don't ever tell someone who's anxious, stop being anxious. Not possible. What has to be done is they need to feel safe. You have to cue that they're safe. Once they start to feel safe, they can start to actually make sense. They can narrate. They can maybe use those higher capacities to make sense of those deeper emotional responses. So my passion is therapeutic relationship. But we cannot have relationship without moving out of those responses into social engagement. So we need to have that feeling of safety in the body. And I think this is the good work of amazing psychotherapy, the good work of physical activity, the good work of social support. And this is what I want to do. I want to help promote this way of interacting, this way of working with people to promote these healthy bonds. I mean, guys, we're human. We are meant to be social, pro-social, and to thrive as a result. So if you have any thoughts or feelings, you're thinking about the polyvagal theory, and you've thought about this before, comment them below. I want to encourage your engagement on this channel. I want you to think about how this is relevant to you, your family, your life. And I want you to realize that you've been so amazingly designed by God. Granted, this is based in a theory of evolution, but we can get into that in a different video. The reality is this: nature, the natural law, God, the way you've been created is for social engagement, health, growth, and restoration. And this theory gives us a wonderful opportunity to promote real, lasting change and interventions that are effective. One last thing, because I'm just on a roll. The way that we respond to trauma depends on our unique vulnerability. Some of us, well, we've been through something once, but some of us, we go through something and then something else comes up and then we're beaten down. It's a complex experience of trauma. It's not very simple. And I think there's a lot of variability to the way that people learn to cope and respond to traumatic events. But what we can do is we can use the polyvagal theory as a wonderful foundation for understanding how to build effective treatment interventions. So yeah, tell me what you think. I'd love to hear. If you liked what I said, please hit the like button. If you're new and you're passionate about therapeutic relationship, authentic healing, and doing this really good work in your own life, subscribe, because we're sharing in a way of being, a way of healing, if we're able to sort of see ourselves, see our nature, see who we are as human beings, and sort of orient ourselves to how we were meant to live. So, thanks for your time. We did an 11-minute video, so I hope you stuck around. Take care. Bye.